Maya Holden sat alone at the edge of Sycamore Grove Park, the wheels of her chair still, her face lifted to the waning light of an early autumn afternoon. The faint breeze stirred the hem of her cream-colored shawl. On her lap sat a small cupcake, vanilla frosting slightly wilted, a single paper napkin cradling it like something precious. 24. She had turned 24 today. No candles, no calls, no visitors. Just a quiet bench where she and her late mother used to sit when Maya could still run, still dance. 4 years ago, a routine drive after class ended in twisted steel and shattered glass. Her mother died on impact. Maya lived, but her legs did not. Since then, she'd returned here every birthday with a cupcake and an invisible wish. Her father, Arthur Holden, co-founder of Holden Aerospace, had been a warm and whimsical man before the accident. Now, all she saw in his eyes was absence. This time, as she stared at the frosting swirl, the child's voice broke the silence. Hi. Startled, Maya looked up. A small girl, maybe 3 or 4, stood in front of her wearing purple corduroys and a sky-blue jacket. A scruffy teddy bear dangled from one arm. She didn't stare at the wheelchair, just at Maya's face. My name is Ivy, she said with firm confidence. My dad said I could ask you. I want to play. Maya blinked. Words stuck in her throat. Then a man approached, tall, early 30s, tousled hair, tired eyes, carrying a faded canvas backpack slung over one shoulder. His t-shirt had paint flecks on it, and his boots were scuffed. I'm so sorry, he said, placing a hand gently on the little girl's shoulder. She saw you sitting alone and asked if she could come say hi. I didn't want to say no. Maya's lips twitched. It's all right. Ivy beamed. Can we play now? Maya hesitated, then nodded. I could use a friend today. I'm Theo, the man said, offering a warm but reserved smile. Ivy dropped down onto the grass and began arranging a handful of rubber dinosaurs around a tree root like they were at a tea party. Maya shifted her chair forward to join. Theo sat nearby, not too close, not too far. What are they building? Maya asked. A secret fort, Ivy replied. But only if you help. For the first time in a long while, Maya smiled. Maya told herself it was a one-time thing. A sweet child, a kind stranger, a moment of warmth on a cold birthday. But 3 days later, as she sat sketching trees from the corner window seat of Finch and Fern Cafe, she heard it. There she is, Daddy. She looked up. Ivy was halfway through the cafe already, squeaky boots trailing wet leaves behind her. Hi again, she called out. Are you still drawing? Before Maya could answer, Theo rushed in, a little winded and holding 2 coffees. Sorry, he said, brushing hair from his eyes. She remembered you. Maya gave a soft smile. She's hard to forget. Ivy peered at Maya's sketchpad. That's a tree. It's a work in progress, Maya chuckled. Ivy studied it seriously. You're like a real drawer. She means artist, Theo said, amused. She's been on a Claude Monet kick lately, only she calls him Mudga. Maya laughed, genuinely. A small, surprised sound that lingered. They only stayed a few minutes. Ivy hugged a stuffed bunny while Maya showed her how to shade leaves. Theo grabbed a black coffee and promised colored pencils next time. Maya stared at the door long after they'd gone. 1 week later, she spotted them at Windmere Market. Ivy, she heard a familiar voice say, Don't run. But the little girl had already darted across the cereal aisle, holding a package of crackers like a treasure map. It's her, she squealed. The drawing princess. Maya turned in her chair, smiling instinctively. Theo caught up, panting slightly. His cart was half filled with canned soup, bananas, and diapers. I'm sorry, he said. She's energetic. She's fine, Maya said. Ivy stepped forward shyly. Can I buy you a cookie? For your birthday? I forgot before. Theo touched her shoulder gently. Let's see if we can afford that, sweetheart. Maya's throat tightened. The quiet in his voice wasn't guilt. It was financial reality. She quickly added, I was just heading to the cookie aisle. Want to pick one out with me? Ivy grinned and led the way. They chose a soft oatmeal chocolate chip. Theo thanked her more than once. That evening, Maya sat at her small studio apartment, the cookies still on the table. Uneaten, but not untouched. Her heart felt strange, warm, unfamiliar. She wondered what they were doing right now. She didn't feel alone. It had rained that entire morning. Maya rolled along the park's gravel path beneath a large umbrella clipped to her wheelchair. She liked the smell of wet earth, the sheen of raindrops on leaves. She didn't expect to see anyone. But there they were. Under the gazebo, Theo spun Ivy in a slow circle, her yellow rain boots kicking water like she was chasing rainbows. She collapsed into his arms, giggling, and he caught her with ease, laughing, soaked, and utterly present. Maya stopped. For a split second, her heart cracked open. Once, her father had danced with her like that. In the kitchen, in the yard, in a world before silence. She turned her chair around, breath quick, and parked beneath a maple tree away from sight. But something across the field caught her attention. An elderly woman was struggling with grocery bags in the rain. Theo noticed, too. Without pause, he jogged over, removed his jacket, wrapped it over the woman's shoulders, and handed her his umbrella. The woman gripped his hand gratefully, misty-eyed. Theo just smiled and jogged back to Ivy, wet hair clinging to his forehead. Maya wiped her cheeks. Tears. Not of sorrow, but of memory. Recognition. He reminded her of the father she used to know. And something in her, frozen for so long, began to thaw. She noticed it more and more, their quiet rhythm. Every Tuesday and Friday, Theo and Ivy appeared at the park. Sometimes Maya was already there. Sometimes they were waiting. Ivy always waved like Maya was the main event. Daddy says this is our Maya time, Ivy announced one afternoon while scaling the monkey bars. I told him you come when the sky's soft blue. Maya glanced up. The sky was, in fact, soft blue. She smiled and looked at Theo, crouched nearby adjusting the wheel on a toy wagon. He met her gaze and nodded. She's got a sixth sense. Or she's just good at patterns, Maya replied. Their visits grew longer, softer. Theo brought coffee. Ivy brought stories and crayon drawings. Maya brought sliced fruit, which Ivy devoured like a starved raccoon. One day, struggling with a stubborn water bottle, Maya tried twisting it open with one hand. Without a word, Theo walked over, opened it, and handed it back. No comment. No pity. Just kindness. Another time, her wheelchair stuck in gravel. Theo crouched and fixed it with ease, brushing his hands off after. Maya studied him. Do you fix everything that easily? He shrugged. Only when I'm allowed to. She didn't have a reply. When Ivy caught a fever, Theo texted to say they'd missed the park. Maya felt a quiet disappointment. She baked oatmeal cookies, mostly out of habit, but as cinnamon filled the air, her chest loosened. It reminded her of her mother. Of warmth. Almost without thinking, she typed, Is she feeling better? Theo replied, still warm. But she asked if the cookie lady could visit. A pause. Then Maya typed, I have extras. Want to come by? We'd love to, came the answer. Her apartment was modest. Pastel walls, messy art supplies, soft light. Theo removed his boots at the door without needing to be told. Ivy climbed onto the couch, Bunny clutched tight. Maya placed cookies on the table. They talked, laughed, sipped tea. Later, as Ivy napped on the couch, Maya and Theo stood in the kitchen drying dishes. Their fingers brushed over a bowl. Maya flinched. I'm sorry, she murmured. For what? You don't have to explain, he said, drying the bowl like nothing happened. But his voice was kind, present. She sat in her art corner after they left and opened her sketchbook. She drew from memory for the first time in years, not commissions, not technique, just feeling. Theo crouched in the grass, arms open. Ivy's curls against his shoulder, their laughter, their warmth. She realized he had never once asked about the wheelchair, and yet he saw her, the whole of her, and she didn't feel the need to hide. One evening, Maya told him everything. The rain, the migraine, the crash, the silence in her father's eyes. Theo didn't speak. He just listened, then told her his story. His wife, Elise, a pastry chef, stage 4 cancer, gone in months. The morning he found Ivy on the kitchen floor, trying to butter toast. It's okay, Daddy. I feed you now. She was too, Theo said softly. That's when I knew I had to try again. He reached across the table, placed his hand over Maya's. You are not the reason your mother died, he said. Her breath caught. And I don't think your father hates you. I think you just didn't know how to love what was left. Maya cried. Not from shame. From truth. It was a warm Sunday when Arthur Holden arrived at the park, unannounced, dressed in a steel gray suit and polished shoes. His eyes locked not on Maya, but on Theo. I've heard things, he said, voice cold. My daughter, laughing in public parks. With him, Maya wheeled forward. You don't get to do this, she said, voice firm. Not now. Arthur ignored her. You fix roofs, he said to Theo. I do. You have a child. I do. Arthur narrowed his eyes. My daughter is not a charity project. She is heir to $1 billion legacy. She requires love, Maya interrupted. And he gave it without asking for anything. Arthur stared. He saw me, she said. Not the chair. Me. The silence was heavy. You're making a mistake, Arthur said at last. No, Maya replied. I'm finally making a choice. After that day, Theo vanished. No texts, no visits, no Ivy. Maya told herself it made sense. But her heart broke anyway. Across town, Theo stared at her contact name on his screen every night. She deserves more, he told himself. Not a man with cracked hands and overdue bills. She's not coming back, is she? Ivy asked one morning. I don't know, Theo whispered. I miss her. Me too, he said. Maya returned to Sycamore Grove the next week. Same cupcake. Same bench. Same silence. Then footsteps. I wasn't sure I should come, Theo said, kneeling beside her. I wasn't sure I could forgive you, she whispered. He took her hand. But I couldn't let today go. It's the day the world got you. Her heart cracked again, but this time open. Then came Ivy, barreling forward, arms wide. Maya. She crashed into them both. And in that tangled, imperfect embrace, Maya realized this was her family. Not the one she'd been born into, but the one she chose.